The commonplace advice that people give you to when you're feeling lonely is to work really hard at trying to make new friends, to go to more social clubs, to get out there and do things. And I think that this advice doesn't actually help the situation. It doesn't help us deal with this deeper experience of feeling lonely. So that what I want to share in this video is a different way of dealing with the situation of loneliness that ends up resulting in finding more friends, in having great experiences with people, in really resolving this experience of loneliness. But the thing is that we've got to not follow the conventional advice. The reason that I'm creating this video, it's twofold. So firstly, I did a video on loneliness a couple of years ago, and there's been hundreds of comments, and it really has touched my heart in a very deep way, because I realize that so many people are going through these feelings, and I really feel for anyone that's going through it, because I've been through it so many times in my life, and I just know how difficult it can be. The second reason that I'm creating this video is a couple of months ago, I was thrown into a situation where all of my loneliness came back to me. I was in Bangkok and I got COVID. I had my brothers and my brother's wife in Thailand at the time. We had all these plans to spend time together. And then my uncle passed away, and the funeral was in Melbourne. And so we all wanted to go to the funeral. They did. And because I had COVID, I wasn't able to get on the plane, because at that time PCR tests were needed. So I then had the next month all alone in Thailand, and I did my isolation. I then traveled to a beautiful island all alone, and it just gave me this chance to reflect deeply on this feeling of loneliness. And I realized that if in that moment I had have tried to follow the conventional advice and just go out and try to meet new people and force myself on people, it just wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have worked, firstly, because I think when we try to force these relationships, we end up coming across as really needy. We approach relationships from a place of lack, like we're aware that we're missing something in life, and we try to paper over the cracks of our loneliness by forcing these relationships into our lives. And it's not good for us, and it's not good for the people that we're trying to spend time with. Instead, I think that it's much better to take this moment of feeling lonely and really see it for what it is. And really the key insight that I've learned over the years is that loneliness isn't about not having people around you, but rather loneliness comes when the people around you don't really understand who you are deep down inside. So with that insight in mind, I now want to share with you a different way to deal with this feeling of loneliness, so that together we can start to resolve the feeling itself, but also put ourselves on a path where we are going to meet more like-minded people in our lives. Before I do that, I just want to show you where I am. I'm at the Daintree River in far north Queensland, Australia. It is a really remote part of the world, actually, so it's a great place to be creating this video, and it's just absolutely stunning. So I want to show you a little bit of what's going on just around here. It's such a beautiful and peaceful place here. So here's the thing, here's the way that I approach this feeling of loneliness when I'm in this situation, and this is what I did when I was isolating in Bangkok. I took the opportunity to think deeply about my values in life. So what is it that's really important to me deep down? And at that time I really saw that freedom is really important in my own life. Spirituality, but not spirituality in the sense of following dogma or anything that's been put down in a book somewhere or anything like that, but rather just for me to explore whatever this connection is with the world around me, nature, the universe, the cosmos, things that are happening deep down within, the universe within, whatever it is. I just really enjoy trying to live my life, to explore things that are beyond what I can see, touch, feel, and so on. And then the other thing is adventure. So I've really enjoyed moving around, seeing different things, getting this diversity of new experiences. So I realized that what I'm desperately looking for is to connect with more people that share these same values. But the trap, I think, is to then go and try to find people in our lives where we try to manufacture experiences, where we try to force these different experiences, where we come to a realization that, well, you know, like I realize I love doing spiritual things, and therefore I want to go on a yoga retreat. So you go and contact people, and you try to get people to do these things with you, or do a yoga session with you, or whatever the case may be. It could be a whole range of different things. And I think this is a trap. When we try to force these experiences with other people, it just doesn't work. It's quite funny, there's a boat coming to the pier now, and this video about loneliness, I want to do it alone, so I'm walking away before the boat arrives so I don't need to interact with people. There's probably a really simple reason why I've been lonely at key points in my life, and it's because I end up gravitating towards doing things that make me alone. So that's the trap. I think we need to not necessarily try to force these experiences on other people. We need to figure out what our own values are. But the next thing we need to do is to start to do more things in our lives where we're delivering these experiences to ourselves. So what I mean by that is, if we think to ourselves that I really want to do things that help me connect with my desire for freedom, if that was one of your values, you love the feeling of being free. I think it's then important to recognize that we're in a relationship with ourselves. So we have the opportunity to do things on our own in a relationship with ourselves that bring more freedom into our lives, that in my case bring more spirituality, bring more adventure. But your values are going to be your own, they're going to be completely different. So what I urge you to do is to, when you're going through the pain of feeling lonely, to take the opportunity to really go deep and get a sense of what your deeper values in life are, and then to start to figure out what are the kinds of experiences that you can bring into your life that you do completely alone, where you start to really work on the relationship you have with yourself, learn to be comfortable being alone. I think what ends up happening when we're able to do that, especially when we're able to do it while feeling lonely, we really empower the relationship we have with ourselves. We start to shift the aura that exists deep down inside ourselves. There's this core that we've all got. We're in a relationship with this core. It sort of comes through us. And when that starts to shift, I think then all of these relationships start to more spontaneously emerge in our lives. And it comes from us doing things where we're not needy, where we don't need all of these different kinds of interactions. Things just start to shift. But the first thing to do to resolve these feelings is to make that commitment to ourselves, to be okay to do a lot of these things while we're alone. I made it to the top, got myself some insect repellent, which is sorely needed and really beautiful. Smells really good, lemongrass, and nice coffee to finish this beautiful moment. So thanks for watching the video so far. I really believe that if you're able to take control of this experience and get something from it, you can change these feelings that exist deep within. This is what I went through a couple of months ago, and it helped this time. Even though it was a little unpleasant, it really provided a lot of clarity about the way I'm living my life, what's important to me, how to spend my time. And then I find that the feeling of loneliness, it sort of ebbs and flows in life, and rather than trying to defeat it, we end up embracing it, and it can almost become our friend in some way. It can provide something really meaningful to us. I think loneliness is definitely going to continue coming into my life, but whenever it comes, I've got the tools to deal with it, to flow with it much more. If you want to go a bit deeper in terms of understanding what your values in life really are, in terms of what really drives you at a core level, I recommend checking out my longer masterclass video. It's a free masterclass. It's called The Hidden Trap of Trying to Improve Yourself, and it's all about finding out what your purpose in life really is, not from trying to imagine the life that you want in the future and then working your way towards it, but rather analyzing what's already been going on deep inside you and what's already been driving you for your whole life. But these things that exist deep inside us are often hidden. They're often very difficult to come to terms with, to understand what they are. So I learnt a couple of pretty interesting techniques for how to figure out what your purpose in life really is. I learnt it from a shaman, the shaman Huda Iyande, and I'm sharing some of these techniques in that video. There's a link in the description below. The other thing is, I'd love to hear from you in the comments about what you think of this video, the advice here, but also what are some of the other topics or that you'd like me to cover, or challenges in your own life, because I'm really enjoying these videos lately. Actually committing to these videos is part of my own path out of loneliness, and committing to myself and doing things that I really enjoy doing. These videos are a side project to what I'm doing at IdeaPod and The Vessel and a range of other initiatives, but I get a lot out of, you know, seeing the world and trying to show a little bit of what's going on. So I'm really enjoying it. I really appreciate you being here, for joining me on this journey. So if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment with what you want to hear more of or not hear more of. I'd love to get to know you more, and see you next time.